back, everyone. It is the weekend edition. We're Simply Bitcoin. I'm back in my home studio. We break down the news, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, hardware releases, and the pleb sites. All right, Nico, you know where we're going. We're diving into the numbers. Let's do it, my friend.
Number time. Brought to you by Nodl. They make some of the best Bitcoin nodes, like the Nodl One. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. Remember, guys, if you don't run your own Bitcoin node, you're using someone else's. And if you're a digital nomad, you have no excuse because Nodl Cloud just released. Run a Nodl node through a virtual private server anywhere around the world. Visit nodl.eu.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 745,138. The Bitcoin price, 20,795. Chain rewrite days, 870. Total public Lightning capacity, 4,260.18. Moscow time, 4809. Blocks to the halving, 94,861. It just changed. And the Samurai Whirlpool unspent capacity. Samurai Whirlpool is a CoinJoiner collaborative spend. It is not a mixing service. And the unspent capacity from that pool is 4,864.70. Nico, those are the numbers. And I just want to say, for Bitcoin being dead, 4,260 BTC on public nodes. I mean, we went up over 100 BTC in the last, I'd say, week and a half. So that's a pretty decent signal. I'm pleased with that.
At least not everything's going down, right? At least there is some positive numbers.
Inflation's going up. We got the numbers in a couple of days ago. That's also going up. Nico, the grass is greener on the other side. You just have to ignore everything.
I'm very glad you brought up the inflation point, right? Because we always hear from these, these bureaucrats how much they care about inflation. They wheel out Joe Biden, and he goes out and he says, "Listen, inflation is my main priority." But I don't think that's true. Let's play this video and we'll talk why.
We are following breaking news here at the live desk coming in just out of the nation's capital. The U.S. announcing a new $1.7 billion in aid to help Ukraine, specifically to help pay healthcare workers still trying to treat patients even after hospitals have been bombed or closed because of Russia's invasion. The money is strictly for humanitarian purposes, coming from the U.S. Agency for International Development, the Treasury Department, and the World Bank. Just last week, the U.S. announced it was sending $400 million in military equipment to Ukraine as well. We are following.
So here's the inflation rate. Highest it's been in 40 years. We actually talked about this in an earlier show, like 2 or 3 episodes ago, so I'm not going to bring it up. But basically, last time the U.S. was in this position, the U.S. actually had the power to raise those interest rates. Now, not so much. So, dude, Weimar Republic vibes. We care about inflation, but we're sending 1.7 billion to Ukraine. This is on top of the fucking money that they sent prior. Mind you, they left 80 billion in Afghanistan, but they care about inflation. I don't believe them. That's my 2 cents.
Nico, it's gaslighting. But hold on a second. Weren't we talking about a number like last week? Wasn't there a number 40 billion floating around?
Yeah, well,
so I don't understand. So we printed 40 billion in aid, and then we added 1.7. Like, how is that what's fixing it? Like, how is that what's helping the hospital workers?
To pay for the healthcare of Ukrainians, while over here people can't pay for gas, and inflation is at 9%. So when I don't care Democrat or Republican, but like, when they roll out a politician to say inflation is our top priority, and then they're doing shit like that, where's that money coming from? They don't have, the U.S., the government spends more money every year than it collects in income tax, okay? So where's that money coming from? They have to print it. When you print more money, you add more money to the money supply, that causes more inflation. So what the fuck is going on? Excuse my language, but like, I don't understand. I don't get it. This is clown world, Weimar Republic vibes. I'm happy my money is in something that can't be debased. I'm happy that my wealth, my energy, my work is in Bitcoin and not the fucking government shitcoin called the US dollar. That is absolute insanity. Total clown world to me. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just watching a show about gaslighting. That's really what I feel like, because it's exactly what you just said is perfect. And it makes absolutely no sense. So you're sitting there, you're looking at the condition of the country, right? Not picking on any particular states or anything like that, or any political leanings, right? You look at the condition of the country and you say to yourself, why the hell are we not like, look, if we're going to sit there and debase the currency, if we're going to sit there and essentially just make everybody poorer, to explain it simply, if we're going to do this, why don't we just keep the money here and actually help people? Because that's not what this is about. That's not what this is about at all. The government, I'm sorry to say this, I'm sure that everybody already knows, government doesn't give a shit about you, doesn't give a shit about me, doesn't give a shit about any of this. Okay, what it needs to do is maintain its moat. Okay, and to me, when I see inflation like this, it depends on what narrative you're talking about, because I have heard the narrative that other countries are essentially attacking the US dollar, and so the value of the USD is going up against is going higher against other currencies. So as a result, the US is trying to print more in order to help lower the strength of the US dollar. Now, look, I'm sorry, I can't do the mental gymnastics that it takes to even pretend to agree or validate if that's true or not. Okay? But what I do know is this. Since 1971, our purchasing power has dropped exponentially. In the last 2 years, the government has printed 70% of all of the dollars in existence. We've also experienced some of the highest inflation in the last, in the last 30 years, 40 years? So I gotta say, I don't know what those other stories are, but it's not fitting the narrative. It's not actually working. I know that from the corporate-owned media, we're getting this information, but it doesn't actually match reality. So this is why I say that they're gaslighting us, because nothing that is being said is actually matching reality. Anyways, that's a horrible, really just terrible stuff, my dude.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Sorry about that. I think you hit the nail on the head, dude. It's total gaslighting. It's lies. And remember, in 1971, what you said, Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard to keep paying for the war in Vietnam, right? So it's like, dude, it's like, fuck these wars, man. Because that's what the fiat... Listen, no individual or country or whatever should have the power to create money out of thin air. I think there's very bad consequences when that happens, and I think we're living through it, right? Whether that's the World Economic Forum as an institution, whether it's the US war machine, right? Whether it's constantly bailing out the big banks, fucking over, Main Street. Dude, this system needs to end, and I think Bitcoin's going to play a key role in that. But anyways, Phil, it's time for it. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to add one point before we move to the next thing. If the government has the people's and had the people's support for these wars, why do they have to print the money without the people's support and validation? Well, that's exactly the point. It's not...
That's the magic of it. They don't have to... it's like what Milton Friedman has...
Because they don't have support. They don't.
Yeah. Milton Friedman has the best thing. It's like, this is the hidden tax. Because it's a tax that you don't agree to. It's just, they just print it. They're like, oh, it's inflation. I don't know what's going on. It's like, dude, you caused it by printing too much money. It's insane, bro. It's insane. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily News.
Brought to you by CryptoCloaks.com. They make some of the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch, like the famous 3D printed Bitcoin grenade toy. Comes in any custom color your heart desires. This is in gold. What if you want Peter's shift colors? That's right. It comes in gold. It's awesome. And you can take a look at the open source 3D printed list on CryptoCloaks. And if you live in Europe, the European store is now open. Take advantage of the promo code down below to get 5% off CryptoCloaks.com. So we always tell you on the show, Bitcoin is going to be attacked by two methods, right? The right to self-custody, they're going to get to that. But what they're really focusing on right now is Bitcoin and it using too much energy, right? Of course, they don't get into the nuance, but they do have the corporate media machine behind them. I'm going to show you the collusion, the collaboration. This is not a coincidence, guys, okay? Like, it wasn't a coincidence that as soon as Elizabeth Warren, as soon as the New York Times reported that Bitcoin might potentially be used by Russia to money laundering, even though the Treasury said the exact opposite, Elizabeth Warren came out of her cave and said the same thing the next day. That is not a coincidence. And you know what? It just happened again. Elizabeth Warren does not care about sanctions. Elizabeth Warren does not care about the environment. Those are just very convenient ways to attack Bitcoin. Why? Because they cannot control it. Anyways, let's check out this collusion. And PBS NewsHour. Bitcoin requires an immense amount of energy. Here's why that's sparking a crypto backlash. Next one, New York Times, the paper of record. Crypto mining capacity in U.S. rivals energy use of Houston. Findings show. We have covered this many times, right? Bitcoin mining uses energy that was stranded, energy that was not being used. If it was being used, it would be too expensive. If, for example, houses in Houston and houses and the mine were competing for the same power, it would be too expensive for Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin miners go towards cheap electricity. That's where it's economical to mine Bitcoin. Of course, that's not mentioned in this article because this article is not about telling the truth. It's about power. Anyways, moving on. 7 of the largest Bitcoin mining companies in the United States are set up to use nearly as much electricity as the homes in Houston. You check out that first segment. The Bitcoin mines are set up to use as much electricity as homes in Houston. That's what they're set up for. That's their purpose. That's her opening line, according to data disclosed Friday as part of an investigation by congressional Democrats who say miners should be required to report their energy use. The United States has seen an influx of cryptocurrency miners who use powerful energy-intensive computers to create and track the virtual currencies after China cracked down on the practice last year. I'll give you guys just my own opinion. Maybe you disagree. When the Chinese Communist Party is doing one thing and the United States is doing the opposite, that's usually a good thing. I don't want to follow the Chinese communists as much as Charlie Munger would like that. Anyways, Democrats led by Senators Elizabeth Warren are also calling for the companies to report their emissions of carbon dioxide, the greenhouse gas that is the main driver of climate change. This limited data alone reveals that crypto miners are large energy users that account for a significant, rapidly growing amount of carbon emissions, said Warren and 5 other members of Congress wrote in a letter to the heads of the EPA and Department of Energy. That's why the Supreme Court's case that we reported on last week, West Virginia versus the EPA, was so monumental because the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the states getting to dictate what their energy policy and what their energy policy is not. And it takes away power from the federal government, like Elizabeth Warren, to central plan and say, hey, you guys are not entitled to use energy the way that you see fit. Us government bureaucrats are going to get to decide that for you. That's always been a recipe for disaster. Added to the strain on the power grids in a state like Texas. Again, the narrative, remember the first line, right? Bitcoin mining is competing for energy that these Houston homes are saying. Now they're making the false claim that it's adding a strain on the power grid in Texas. We reported a Bloomberg article. You don't have to take our word for it. It was actually like either yesterday's episode, the episode before. We told you guys, what did the Bitcoin miners do when Texas needed more energy? Because they decided to invest in renewable energies like windmills, like the wind turbines. That accounts for 7% of Texas's energy capacity, but the wind turbines were only producing 8% of their total energy capacity. Why? Because wind doesn't blow 24/7, same as the sun. It's not that I have anything against renewable energies. I love hydro. Hydro's working all the time. It's that you can't pitch the public about these renewable energy sources and not talk about the potential cons, right? It's all pros, but it's no cons. Look at Germany. Germany they were forced to turn on their coal plants again. They were forced to declare that natural gas and nuclear energy is green.
So again, it's cheap virtue signaling that has real world consequences. It's not a coincidence that New York, California, and Germany have some of the highest electricity prices in their respected countries compared to a state like Texas. That's cheaper electricity prices. So the middle and lower classes, right, are actually paying less than they were in California and New York and Germany. Anyways, that process, a complex game using power and power-hungry computers. Again, the framing. Power-hungry computers is highly energy intensive. They had to tell you twice that it's energy intensive. Not once, twice. Power-hungry computers, higher energy intensive. Like, this is total framing. This is bullshit. So it goes on to say, right, about different mining operations, right, about its potential air pollution, about why isn't the banking sector held to the same regulations as Bitcoin mining? Why is Bitcoin mining different? You would like to, oh no, because Bitcoin mining is energy intensive. So is the banking sector. Why? Because they want to get to decide what energy use is okay and what is not okay. And here's the thing, guys, it's not about energy use, and the Norway example is always the best example. We covered this when it came out back in May. Bitcoin mining in Norway gets the green light as the proposed ban rejected. Let's check out who was trying to do it. The proposal to ban mining in Norway was first suggested in March this year by the Red Party, Norway's Communist Party. In this week's vote, the proposal was overturned as only Norway's left-leaning parties, including the Socialist Left Party, the Red Party, and the Green Party, would support a ban on cryptocurrency mining. Now, here's the key, guys. Here's the signal. Norway now contributes as much as 1% to the global Bitcoin hash rate. Here it is. Taking advantage of 100% renewable energy in the land of the midnight sun. So even in Norway, where 100% of Bitcoin miners are powered by renewable energy, they still wanted to ban it. What's going on here? You think, oh, that's just a New York Times article, it's no big deal. They're not giving up, because of course they're not going to give up, because it's about power and control. Here's a new letter to the EPA, to the Department of Energy. Elizabeth Warren says 80 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions. Here are some of the senators: Rashida Tlaib, Jeffrey A. Merkley, Jared Huffman, Elizabeth Warren, Sheldon Whitehouse, Edward Markey. Jared Huffman actually got into a bout with us on Twitter when we called him out on his bullshit. So, and he retweeted Simply Bitcoin. He called us crazy toxic maxis. We take a lot of pride in that. But listen, couple things that I want to mention. They're not going to let up. And make no mistake, it's not about the environment. The Norway example is a great example of that. And another observation that I want to make, first of all, I want to preface this. Simply Bitcoin is apolitical. We do not believe that Bitcoin is a political technology. We believe that Bitcoin is for everybody. Bitcoin helps the unbanked. It's the most inclusive money the world has ever seen. But why is it that the left-wing parties all around the world, whether it's Norway, whether it's China, whether it's in the United States, they are the main attackers of Bitcoin? I thought you guys were for the little guy. What is going on here? Why are you attacking the most inclusive money the world has ever seen? That helps people that don't have bank accounts, helps people that live in hyperinflating countries, helps refugees cross the border and take their wealth with them. Why are you guys attacking Bitcoin mining? What is going on here? It's the left-wing parties in Europe, the left-wing parties in Norway, the left-wing party there's only one party in China, and the left-wing party in the United States. Now, it's not black and white. There are plenty of Democrats that support Bitcoin, but you cannot deny that the people that are fighting Bitcoin the most have come from a certain political ideology. And I do not believe that it's a good idea that Bitcoin becomes a partisan issue, because it's not. It helps everybody. So I'm calling bullshit. Elizabeth Warren, you don't give a flying about the Russian sanctions. You don't care about the environment when it comes to this. You are attacking it because you can't control Bitcoin. That's what this is about. That's what it's always been about. And shame on you, because you're willing to destroy something that helps billions of people. Look at the examples that we talk about. Cubans having access to the global financial system through Bitcoin. What about the Afghanis? When the United States decided to shut off the Afghan from the financial system, when Western Union pulled out, Bitcoin was there. And that is what you're attacking, Elizabeth Warren. That is what you're doing. You're a fraud. Anyways, Phil.
It's going to be tough to follow that up. I got to be honest with you. that was fire. Look, I think I'm going to take a different spin on this. Look, it's incredibly disingenuous that we have politicians that attack Bitcoin's energy use, but at the same time, these same politicians aren't going and figuring out what the environmental impact is of all of this plastic crap that is produced. Okay? There's that piece of it. The other piece is this. You know, if you go take a look at the companies that contributed to Elizabeth Warren in 2020, there's, if you look at the top 20 contributors, IBM is on that list. Now, don't get me wrong, but IBM has produced a lot of computers throughout the years. They have used a lot of plastic, okay? A lot of it. And it's interesting that in no way, shape, or form does she question, and not even just her, but that anybody, why is nobody questioning IBM? Why is nobody questioning AT&T for laying down all of the cable, all the fiber? What's that cost? Well, what are you talking about? It enables communication. Well, guess what? Bitcoin enables sound money for everyone. So it actually has, and again, this goes back to something which I totally do not remember who it was that said this, but it has to do with, do you think that Bitcoin is the energy that's wasted, is it valuable, right? Is it valuable that the energy that is being used for Bitcoin? Now, if you value sound money, if you value censorship resistance, okay? If you value these things, then yes, Bitcoin is worthwhile. And you know something else? It's fantastic because the politicians are saying one thing. Certain politicians are saying one thing, painting Bitcoin as an enemy. But unfortunately for them, Bitcoin is transparent and doesn't have a head that you can chop off. So as a result, it doesn't matter that they say all these things, because in the end, we're seeing what the truth is and we're seeing what reality is. And the reality is this: anybody can opt into Bitcoin or opt out of Bitcoin. It's exactly what you said, Nico. The most inclusive financial technology that mankind has ever seen. So how much is that worth? I bet you that's worth a lot to people who don't have access to good money. I bet you that's worth a lot to the unbanked. How many people got wallets in El Salvador within the first 3 months? What was that? They had like over 1.6 million wallets, I think.
Dude, there is more Bitcoin wallets in El Salvador than there is bank accounts. The banking system had a 50-year head start. And there's a reason for that. All the fucking red tape, okay? Bitcoin, you download a wallet, you're good to go. The bureaucracy is the problem. And people like Elizabeth Warren are frauds because they aren't for the little guy. What they're about is power and control. And you know what? There's people on both sides that are like that. But dude, this pattern is fucking troubling. I hope it ends. And I think that the way that you fight back against these people is you expose them and you call them out on their bullshit. And you can't deny this. This is undeniable. Phil, remember in the very beginning when we first started covering this, dude, like 8 months ago, I was like, I'm starting to pick up a pattern. I would say this off air to you. I was like, I'm starting to pick up a pattern, but I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Dude, why is it only coming from one side? I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Tinfoil hat time. Okay, here we go. So now we're gonna speculate, even though we say we never speculate. My speculation is this: they're gonna convince these politicians that are for this crap. Okay, they are going to convince whoever it is that they're going to convince, whatever states they're going to convince, and it's gonna be funny because what's gonna happen is that all of these states are going to quote unquote use less energy, but they're also going to be able to produce less energy. So what it's going to do is it's going to cause a cascading effect where they say you now have to use less energy because less energy is being produced and the grid can't handle as much.
It's already a religion, man. It's already happening. Check out these comments from the New York Times article, bro. It is the most depressing shit I've ever seen. Check this out. So it's already happening, right? Okay, to be fair, there's a lot of Bitcoiners in this comment, and it wasn't like this the first time I checked. But so awesome. Fuck yeah. We're fighting back. So let's take a look at these. Shouldn't these libertarian clowns develop their own power network first? That's exactly what we're doing, clown. Next one. Thank goodness for Senator Warren, one of the few leaders paying attention to what is happening in the world. Whenever a problem pops up, our dear leader, Senator Warren, has a plan ready to go. If crypto miners want to continue to operate, this should be required. They should be required. Next one. Electricity is a basic service that all U.S. citizens need. Until we transition fully from fossil fuels to renewables, our energy production contributes to climate change, which is costing billions. Think California wildfires and Texas floods. Bitcoin mining is not a service that has a benefit to society. Sounds like you got financial privilege, practical realities. Anyways, so yeah, dude, like when I read comments like that, Phil, honestly, it's so depressing because people buy into that propaganda. They have no idea about the effects, and they just say, oh, climate, and they just buy into it. Are we denying climate change? Are we saying that there isn't pollution? I live near the ocean in Miami, right? Dude, there's a ton of garbage in the ocean. So I care about it. I hope that gets cleaned up. What we don't agree in is creating a bigger government bureaucracy, because that has never been able to solve problems. That's the thing, right? So anyways, my 2 cents. Phil, it's time for it.
The Daily Fail. Brought to you by Swan. Check them out. SwanBitcoin.com. Automated Bitcoin savings plans, instant purchases. You've got $10, you've got $10 million. Swan has you covered. The best place to DCA. Check them out. The link is down below. All right. I know that there's so many people that have been waiting for updates, right? We did that video on the ETH roadmap to ETH 2.0 that involved the merge, the splurge, the purge, and all of this wonderful rhyming stuff that they love to have in fantasy unicorn land. Well, fret not, because guess what? Ethereum devs pencil in. They didn't pen it in. They didn't make it, they didn't guarantee it. They penciled it in so you could erase it, but they penciled in the September date for the merge. That's right. Not the purge, but the merge. So here we go. Come September 19th, the network is expected to merge from its current state as a proof of work blockchain. And here we go, Nico. This is some of your favorite rhetoric, to an energy efficient proof of stake network. Of course, right? Because they want to remind you, this is not just going to be ultrasound money, but it's also going to be ultra clean. It does it all. It does everything. This merge timeline isn't final, of course not, but it's extremely exciting to see it coming together, tweeted Beacon Chain Community Manager superfizz.eth. Please regard this as a planning timeline and look out for official announcements. That's right, all of you who have your $33 billion locked into a shit chain that doesn't move and doesn't do anything, fret not. Soon, you may or may not have access to it, we're not sure, but we're excited. Ugh, the sales rhetoric is just absolutely brutal. The Beacon chain is the proof of stake version of Ethereum, currently running in parallel to the proof of work based mainnet. I'm going to just add in something here. It's not actually running. It doesn't actually do anything. It just has a whole bunch of bag holders with their ETH locked into it, waiting for something to happen. So it isn't actually doing anything. Anyways, it launched in December 2020, marking the beginning of the multi-stage upgrade. Superfizz included a more detailed outline of the next steps, including a final trial on the last Ethereum testnet, Goerli. And here we go. This is a tweet from sassel.eth, another great ETH shill account that I always end up going back and forth with because he's terrible. Here we go. Goerli, the last public testnet to run through the merge transition, should do so around August 11th. Okay, so keep all these dates in your mind. August 11th is when it goes through the testnet. By September 19th, we should have good news. Anyways, it's fantastic when the goalposts don't actually exist. And that's exactly what they're showing. So here we go, the merge and Ethereum 2.0. Instead of miners, here we go. Instead of miners around the world confirming transactions and minting new blocks, so-called validators will do the same. A validator, at least in the Ethereum network, refers to an entity that has deposited a minimum of 32 Ethereum to the beacon chain. Whoa, that kind of sounds like a top-down structure. That kind of sounds like the people who can afford to enter the system and maintain the system get to do it, and everyone else just gets to pound sand. And a lot of times, well, what I've seen from ETH shills is they'll say, well, you could have bought those ETH 3 years ago, and then that, those 32 wouldn't have costed you so much. That is some typical stupid BS. There will always be 21 million Bitcoin. Okay, that is the most that there will ever be. And guess what? You can go and buy Bitcoin anytime if you so choose. And guess what? Regardless of how much Bitcoin you buy, regardless of how much Bitcoin I buy, we both have the exact same power on the network. Exact same power. Not here though. Not when you want to be an ETH validator and you need to have at least 32 ETH. What that does is it creates a moat and it creates a barrier to entry because Ethereum has a tiered system. And they're making sure that the worker bees are going to stay right down there. This is, anyways, to me, all this just looks like a pyramid. Okay. All right, let's wrap this one up. The stake keeps the entity economically aligned to continue diligently verifying transactions. If they don't, some of that deposit can be taken away from them. What? So if you're quote unquote not validating correctly, Daddy Ethereum is going to come and take away some of your deposit? This is just weird and stupid. Anyways, conversely, if they continue to maintain high uptime and prevent fraudulent activity, validators can earn additional Ethereum for their services. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Anyways, you know what? Honestly, this is just such a load of crap. People have no idea what they're in for when if it actually makes it to proof of stake. I'm not really sure if it does, but all I'm seeing here is a Cantillon effect, and I'm seeing a top-down pyramid structure, okay? Where there are the devs, and you've got people like Vitalik and Joe Lubin, and a very small group of people that are all the way at the top, controlling everything. And then you have a substructure of these quote-unquote Ethereum validators that are kept in check. This is not going to end well for anyone. Anyways, Nico, before I dive into the next piece of the fail, I just wanted to give everybody an update as to, where and when the merge, splurge, and verge and purge was going to happen.
Sorry about that. It's really scary stuff, man. It's a lot of people haven't woken up to that. Thinking that it's going to end differently is naive, right? Proof of work was the innovation. It's what ensures rules without rulers, right? That sounds like rules with rulers. And, so thinking
and punishment
and governance and government, right? So thinking it's going to end differently, there is no doubt in my mind that this will be captured by government eventually. It's inevitable. And he's already setting it up where, these shitcoins need to justify their existence, right? Because, what is the reason for existing if it doesn't do something better than Bitcoin, right? So clearly they're taking the energy efficient narrative, right? And we already know that they're pushing that hard in the cleaning up crypto community in front of Congress, right? They had a professor who's close to Vitalik. And guess what? He was pushing proof of stake, right? Coincidentally, right? So yeah, this is we have to get ahead of this. Clearly, Elizabeth Warren is working hard to capture the narrative, and you saw it in those comments in the New York Times article. She's obviously successfully convinced some people, but to give Bitcoiners credit, we definitely had a couple base plebs in there fighting the good fight. Anyways, those are my 2 cents. 2 sats, better said.
2 sats. That's right. The 2 sats are worth more than 2 cents, Nico. And to go back to something that you said, they specifically put at the top of the article that they are moving to energy, as you were saying, energy efficient proof of stake. By the way, this is what, before we move to the next fail, I just want to mention one point. You ever notice how they never have any actual numbers for this energy efficiency? Like, it's very interesting. Bitcoiners and Bitcoin miners have to produce so much data to prove what they're doing. And yet these shitcoiners don't have to prove a damn thing. All they got to do is play buzzword bingo, right? They just put in the buzzwords. It all looks good. The unicorns, you know, and then we're happy. Anyways, these are mental gymnastics, and we're just surrounded. We're just surrounded by enemies. Anyways, speaking of enemies, Nico, guess what? For the people who thought that the bull run was over, there's some more shitcoining on the way. And there is some new shitcoining, Nico. There is some new shitcoining to lure in some noobs and fleece them. All right, and we're going to dive into it right now. Let me ask you something. What has been missing from DeFi, Nico? And it's okay if you don't know, because I don't know either, because we're going to find out what's been missing.
No idea. I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look what's been missing. All right, we got tagged by @Ziltoid XGFY. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to read that because I know what it is. But all right, here we go. Let's take a look. He tagged us in this tweet from a Julian Gay. Let's go take a look at this, okay? It looks like he's building the @CRED_ protocol. Previously CEO of Zendo. Imagine the future. Make it happen. Ah, that sounds so good, right? Just gives me the warm and fuzzies. Yeah, I want the future to be beautiful. Give me the unicorns. I love the unicorns. All right, let's take a look at this. Over the last few months, we've been working to build one of the first credit scores for DeFi. Oh, that's what we've been missing. Credit scoring on something that doesn't exist and doesn't do anything. Oh, of course. Today, we're excited to share the results of our first credit score with the world. Read below. Now, let's take a look at this. Our mission is to bring DeFi lending to 1 billion people. We believe that DeFi will one day provide access to financial resources to anyone with an internet connection. One of the main reasons quantification of risk is so important is that without it, DeFi lending has to remain heavily, and this is the key, Nico, heavily over collateralized, which means inaccessible. So that sounds a little bit more like some bullshit, because when you over collateralize loans, if you ask me, and I may be wrong, but I believe that increases the security, does it not? Because there's more money backing it. So it sounds like we want to go the other way on this one. Anyways, moving on. Let's go take a look at the CRED protocol for a second. It's a decentralized credit scoring, and it's expanding access to DeFi. Well, that's fantastic. Let's go to their website and see what they're selling us. Here we go. So the decentralized credit scoring, expanding access to DeFi lending. All right, great. You keep saying that, but we don't know why. CRED is a decentralized credit score, a financial primitive, or at least they have one word in there that actually is accurate. It is primitive, that enables, here's the buzzword bingo, Web3 smart contracts to make better risk-based decisions. Boom. We've got smart contracts. We've got Web3. We've got DeFi. This is going to be good. Okay? DeFi loans are over-collateralized up to 800%, making them unusable by regular people. That's right. All those people that were getting fleeced in the last market, all those regular people, they weren't using it. That's not what's happening at all. We're going to fix that for you. We're going to add more risk and make it so that anybody can get fleeced even faster. Anyways, by quantifying borrowing risks, we're enabling access to loans that make a difference. Now, I just want to bring people's attention to Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, and specifically Moody's. Moody's is a rating agency bought and paid for by the highest bidder. There's no way that this can happen to this centralized entity, okay, guys? There's no way that this can happen. I just want you to keep that in mind. All right, so let's go take a look very quickly at the CRED protocol. Decentralized credit scoring, okay? Let's take a look. And this is where you're supposed to get excited. Under-collateralized consumer lending is a $4 trillion market. It's not happening in DeFi yet. The missing components is the quantification of risk at scale. aka the credit score. That's what we're building at CRED Protocol. That's right, guys. We need more insecurity in that network. We need to be able to rug pull you a little bit faster, okay? And it's fantastic that they're going to bring these under-collateralized consumer lending to this $4 trillion market. Now, what that's supposed to do is it's supposed to make you feel really good. The possibilities, boy, I'd like to get my piece of that $4 trillion market. Well, let's take a look, because they claim that this hasn't happened in DeFi yet. There hasn't been this consumer lending. But wait, let's go take a look at the REC leaderboard. The REC leaderboard consists of 96 projects that were rug pulling and that were effectively lending. It's insane. And if we take a look, one of the projects that they tout is Compound. Compound is number 6 on the list and rug pulled for $147 million back in 2021. So to state that this bullshit hasn't happened yet, it has. Okay? It's already been there. It's already been rug pulling, even though the loans are over collateralized. It doesn't mean anything. Okay? It means absolutely nothing. And I just wanted to remind everyone of this. Here lies the names of some of the DeFi protocols that have fallen victim to attack, exploit, or arbitrage. This list is not complete, and it never will be. So I want you guys to think about this when you think about a stupid project that offers quote-unquote DeFi credit scores. Really what this is going to do is offer a pass to scammers to be allowed to rug pull you and say, hey, we had a very low score. You should have known the risks. That's what I see. So look, I just think that this is a complete load of crap. I can't believe that people are going to fall for this. Let's just go back through it, guys. We had the ICOs, okay? We had the IEOs, okay, which were the exchange offerings, okay? We had DeFi. We have NFTs. Now we have another layer on top of that for credit scoring these crappy DeFi projects. Don't fall for this shit, okay? These people aren't going to offer any level of security in any way, shape, or form. A credit score to a scam doesn't matter, okay? Never forget all of the projects that we've gone through and we showed you. Some of them were audited by quote-unquote trusted auditors like Certic, QuantStamp, PeckShield. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. Once your money's gone, it's gone. So anyways, thank you very, very much, Ziltoid, for tagging us in this. I think that this is just going to be another rug pull, and I can't wait to see the quote-unquote shitcoin projects that get a CRED score, and then we end up reading about them in the fail 3 weeks later when they've rug pulled. Nico, any thoughts on this new innovation?
Dude, spot on. It's just same garbage over again. There is no innovation. It's all centralized garbage. All these shitcoins are just designed to redistribute wealth, take your money, enrich the founders. A lot of these rug pulls are even by the founders themselves, right? That what a convenient way to get out of that, right? So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And it's what you said in the beginning. That's so funny. Like, we thought they covered every angle. No, but now you need credit scores for your creds, right? And I know how much you like creds, Phil. So, oh man, it's just total clown world, bro. But it's good that we keep exposing them. We keep, like, whether it's the climate stuff, whether it's these shit coins, you just have to shine a light of truth on this. Just expose it and, hope as many people as possible wake up. We've been getting a lot of positive comments lately, Phil. Especially now that the bear market hits. So yeah, we're gonna keep doing us, man. And I know we're gonna get a lot more hate, especially when a lot of these people, their business is to scam other people. We're very inconvenient. We're toxic plebs, bro. Remember, we're toxic plebs to them because we're calling out their bullshit. Anyways, dude, we even got blocked by Plan B, bro, because we sided with Corey right from the beginning. We didn't know what the fuck was going on, but we trusted Corey.
And look, that 99% variance, Nico, we just don't understand it because we're not talented enough. But I just wanted to make another point about the CRED score thing. Remember this, okay? We always talk about the partnership parade, the technology trap. This is validation by association. Okay, and that's what that is. Hey, look, guys, you don't need to worry because we're going to offer you a credit score. And then when you look at that, you'll know how risky the project is. Like, you couldn't tell that a scam was risky to begin with. Anyways, yeah, man. This is garbage, and we keep exposing it.
Yep, it's garbage, and we're going to keep calling out the bullshit. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Citadel 21. It's the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's stories, articles, comics by actual Bitcoiners. This is the artwork for Volume 12. This is the artwork for Volume 11. This is the artwork for Volume 2. Volume 2 is almost sold out because there's only 1,000 physical copies made per volume. Guys, get your prints. They're collector's items of Citadel 21 today before they run out. All right, everybody, welcome to the Daily Bitcoin Meme Review Bitcoin memes. They play an essential role in this narrative trench warfare and Bitcoin culture. They're awesome. Let's get to the memes. First meme by TK Toxicat. Let's check it out. I have no desires to fit in, no plans to walk the crowd. I have my own mind, heart, and soul. I follow the truth, not the media and devil worshippers. Okay, I like that. It's funny.
Well done.
Very well done. All right, by Rothmus. You are here, paying taxes to pedos to stay out of a cage while they bomb children, destroy your savings, collapse the economy, and blame it on you. I love the red and the blue because, again, right, the political parties, man, doesn't matter who's in power. They just print money. They don't care. And then they're like, oh, it's the Democrats. If you vote us in, we'll fix everything. And then when the Democrats get in power, it's the Republicans. If it's a total scam. Yeah, dude. And this really goes to, the sovereign individual and how he's telling how Bitcoin empowers the individual to move to different jurisdictions. That's going to create an arbitrage situation. And hopefully, what Phil always says, governments are actually have to provide value now that you'll see capital flight fleeing. Anyways, when you find out Bitcoin is more than NGU, that's not what I was expecting, but I'm here for it. I love it. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, said Fred, the great resist. I love that. They will own nobody and they will be unhappy. It's so true. Bitcoin is the great read. I told you, Peter, scam coins cause unnecessary stress. You silly cunt. That's hilarious. All right, moving on. By Paulo Ordino. He is the chief technology officer at Bitfinex and also the chief CTO of Tether as well. It's alive and it's Bitcoin. It's a Frankenstein. It's like art. It's.
I had to do it.
Clever. It's clever. Anyways, for that, I am looking. I'm going to give it a hat. The Dorado Beach hat. Boom. What would you give those memes?
It's so crazy how we end up in sync without even discussing anything. Okay, look. I know we have a clothing sponsor. I was given something by a fellow Bitcoiner, Max Bybit, and he has a web store with Mr. Crown called ungovernablemisfits.com, and I received today my Bad Rat hoodie. So, yep, that's what I'm giving for a score. Bad Rat.
Very good scores. Very good scores. Anyways, guys, we want to know if you agree with our scores, you disagree. Let us know down in the comment section. Comment. Make sure to join our Telegram group where you can link us some awesome memes to review because it's a Bitcoin meme review and we need awesome memes. Join the Telegram. It's waiting for you down in the link description. And make sure to subscribe to us on alternative video platforms like rumble.com and our personal favorite, bitcointv.com. Anyways, Phil, there was an open source software release today. Why didn't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. Brought to you by CipherSafe. Check them out. CipherSafe.io. Forget the paper. Paper's dead. Store your seed in steel. Store your seed in the Cipher Wheel or the all-new Cipher Grid. They both come with a tamper-resistant wire, and the grid comes with a punch tool. All right, we've got BTCPay server version 1.6.1. That's right, these guys are releasing stuff super fast. I think we just announced 1.6.0 last week. Anyways, 1.6.1 is released, and the link is down below in the show notes.
What is BTCPay server, Phil?
What is BTCPay server? Yes. Okay, BTCPay server is a merchant tool which allows people to accept Bitcoin and Lightning payments really easily. You can host your own BTCPay server, or you can have them host it. So it could be it could be hosted, let's say, on the cloud, so to speak.
Awesome.
Good with that?
Yeah, that's good.
Good with that one? All right, cool. I forgot that we were starting to add that. I'm sorry. All right, we're adding it back. We used to do it, then we stopped. Now we're doing it again. Thank you, guys. Thank you for always keeping us honest and asking us for this stuff, okay? Because we were doing it, then we stopped. Anyways, don't forget to check us out on our audio-only platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. If you want to stream us sats, check us out on fountain.fm. You can stream us sats through Breeze.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. All right, guys, before we go, I want to give a very special shout out to our awesome clothing sponsor, representltd.com. Phil and I wear the hoodies every single day. Different designs. We obviously have our favorites, but we try to change it up. And it's very comfy. It's stylish. I literally wear this all the time. At the airport, you only see me in Represent hoodie. Not because they pay us, but because they're actually genuinely comfortable. Anyways, honestly, we wouldn't have accepted it if it wasn't awesome, right? That we kind of have a strict policy. We get so many offers from Shitcoins. Anyways, guys, they're stylish, they're comfy. Coming out with Bitcoin merch, Simply Bitcoin merch. It's awesome. You take advantage of the promo code down below to get 10% off. representltd.com. Also, check out Simply Bitcoin's blog. It's headed by the legendary Pirate Beach Bum, one of the OG plebs. You check it out at www.simplybitcoin.news. He has some awesome articles, bear market diaries. He has some exposés on all the frauds. It's awesome. It was so toxic that I was like, Pirate, you got to tone it down. He's like, Nico, shut the fuck up. I'm not going to do that. So that's how toxic it is. You definitely want to go check it out. Guys, that was our show. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Of course, you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the pleb perspective and the catastrophic fails. Definitely consider subscribing to Simply Bitcoin. Guys, we'll see you. No, this is a Saturday episode. We're going to take a break. We'll see you on Monday for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin.
Don't let the shitcoin scammers fool you into the validation by association. It's only Bitcoin. That's the real game in town.